are happy, you have your coffee, you have everything. You are all set up to start this session. Yes, perfect. I just see that Raf is in the room. So Raf, the president of the French Tech London. Do you want to share a word about the French Tech London before starting the full presentation and interview of Welcome to the Jungle in 1 minute?
Yeah, of course. Good morning, everybody. Very happy to be here. I'm not going to pitch you. It's way too early for this, first of all. And second, of course, I'm pretty sure that most of the people here already know what French Tech is about, but very happy to see that. Welcome to the Welcome to the Jungle series. It's extremely exciting to see you guys here. Of course, it's part of a longer series of Café Serre that we have, and there's going to be so much more coming down the line. You know, 2020 was hard. 2021 is picking up. And I think, you know, we're going to be looking over the next 6 to 8 months into a very exciting time in our community. People are coming back out. We're, you know, very privileged in the UK to see that, you know, vaccination is being picking up. So we're very confident that business is going to boom again, even more than usual. And so, you know, very excited to see what our friends can do, you know, on the entrepreneur side. And Welcome to the Jungle is a very good example. So I'm very excited to listen to you guys this morning. Welcome.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Raf, for this introduction. So no need to present French Tech London. You all know this organization who is doing an amazing job. So let's start. Let's start by presenting our incredible guest for today. And I know that it's important to keep a good tempo all along the presentation, but I think that around 9:30, Sin will present us a new product that Welcome to the Jungle is launching very soon. So I try to tease that as much as I can, but it's also part of the pitch today. They are launching a new offer, and you want to test and to see what will be the market appetite in London for those two products and your point of view. So stay connected. We will have a very nice presentation to come. But before starting on that, I want to introduce our guest, Sin, who is representing Welcome to the Jungle. So Sin, after a strong experience in a first startup named Each. Each is a ride-sharing app in France, a company that has raised more than 75 million euros of capital. He was managing all the expansion of this company, who was present in many in different countries across Europe, and also he was the chief of staff for the organization. And since some months, he has joined Welcome to the Jungle as the expansion manager. And I don't know if you've seen the news, but they raised more than 30 million euros in capital some months ago. You will tell us exactly when it was. And this company is also was selected as one of the 120 startup from the French Tech Mission. And also, I don't know if Sin, you know that, but the company has been rated by Early Metrics as part of the best companies. So we are very happy to have you for this chat. And but maybe I don't think that I was very precise on all what I presented about you. If you can say 2 words about you, and then we will jump on the presentation of Welcome to the Jungle in depth.
Actually, that was pretty precise and pretty clear, but to make it very short, yeah, I've been in startup environments and just handling countries abroad and handling expansion. So I'll be delighted to talk a bit in detail about what's going on at Welcome to the Jungle in terms of expansion. So maybe we'll go through it later on, but today we have 4 active countries in Europe, and we're expecting to grow quite fast this year and next year. So yeah, let's go through this morning.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if everybody is familiar with what Welcome to the Jungle is doing, but I will be very happy if you can say 2 words about what Welcome to the Jungle is offering, but also the purpose of the company. Because if I'm not wrong, there is the products that you delivered, but there is also a strong vision around the company to create a community. So very interesting if you can share 2 words about the activity in global.
Yeah, of course. So the company was created by 2 French guys, so Jérémy and Bertrand, in 2015. And they had a perception of work that was quite precise. So they thought it was quite funny because, for example, if you want to watch a movie You go on Netflix and it's really exciting. The experience is great. If you want to order some food, you go on Deliveroo, the experience is amazing. But if you want to go and look for some work, the experience is quite disgusting, actually. You know, the job boards are not really well built, and sometimes the recruiters don't know how to behave well. So we thought, okay, how can we make this experience sexy and enjoyable, considering that looking for a job is one of the most important things in life. It's a big part of your life. So it should be fun and not some kind of pain. So this is when they created Welcome to the Jungle to really help the candidates, but also the employees, so the worker, to have a better experience at work, but also the recruiter. So every actor connected to work should have a better experience at all the stage of work. So this is why Welcome to the Jungle created 4 products, 4 different kind of products that helps every single one of these actors at different stage of their work experience.
Yeah, very interesting. And I know that Early Metrics is a big client, so we know the quality of what is presented. Do you have some KPIs to share in terms of number of clients that you already have? I was checking on, I would say, on some stats, but you have very strong exposure in France, and you are also developing, as you said, in other countries in Europe. Do you have some interesting KPIs to share around the community, the number of applications? I don't know if you have the number of applications on the platform or stuff like that, just to have an idea.
Yeah, of course. So first of all, maybe what's interesting to say is that Welcome to the Jungle is maybe most importantly media. So we produce a lot of content, a lot of articles, a lot of videos that generates a lot of traffic on our website. So we have about between 1,200,000 and 1,500,000 people coming every month on our website to go and look for our content. So it can be recruiters, but also potential candidates. And then we have this platform that puts in relation recruiters and candidates. And so we have about 3,500 companies that have an account, that have a page. And then, yeah, we have tens of thousands of applicants per week in all over Europe that look for jobs.
And what's the size of the companies that are on the, because 3,000, more than 3,000 companies, it's a lot. So what's the size of those companies? Are they all the same, or SMEs, or also large organizations, small organizations? You have some patterns around that?
Yeah, so in France, it all started with SMBs at the beginning. You know, when we had in 2015 already the startup environment was quite huge. And it was already the place to be to work in a startup. So big groups were not sexy anymore. So we started here, and it was really tech oriented. So we had a lot of tech companies that needed to recruit a lot quite fast. But very, very soon, like by 2017, 2018, some big groups started to be like, okay, I want to be part of this because all our talents are going into smaller companies. So I want to be in this cool website to reach these people as well. So obviously we have much more small to medium companies there because they are more numerous on the market. But we should have maybe 30% of big companies, and we consider a company to be big when they have more than 500 employees.
Yeah, very interesting. And I will jump also on the point that we shared when we were preparing the meeting. I think that, and to know that by working in that environment, we know that the revenue is very important to grow. But I think one of the most, I would say, bottleneck that you have when you grow in a company is to recruit people, to recruit talent. And I think that the capacity to support those early stage companies to become tomorrow unicorn, one is indeed the market fit and to grow in terms of revenue, but also to grow in terms of people. And you shared with me a very impressive experience you had with the clients at Welcome to the Jungle that probably a lot of you know, which maybe you can say a word about that.
Yeah, of course. So we have a pretty cool client experience. So the client is called Doctolib. So Doctolib is a very famous and successful startup in France that puts in relation doctors and people that need to reach a doctor online. So it's one of the fastest growing company in France in the past 5 to 10 years, 5 years maybe. Today they have 1,500 companies, and Welcome started working with them when they were quite small, maybe 200, 300 companies, and helped them through their growth. But as you know, when companies grow really fast, like all the big heads of the company kind of change every 2 to 3 years. And there was a big HR director that came in and they're like, okay, well, what is this Welcome to the Jungle product? Why do I need it? Like, it seems cute, but does it really work? And this is when they were like, okay, but if you want, what you can do, you look at every single candidate you have coming in that applies, and ask them during the recruitment process, do they know about Welcome to the Jungle? And did it help them to really apply and be convinced about the company value? And so it's Dr. Libre receives, I don't know, they have maybe from 100 to 500 appliers per week. So very quickly they have relevant statistics. And like there was maybe 70 to 80% of the candidates that were like, yeah, obviously I went through Welcome to the Jungle and it helped me, you know, project myself into the company. So then the HR director came back and they're like, okay, so obviously I'm staying, but I'm also upselling and getting a lot more on the platform. So we were quite happy about that.
And do you know how many people are working in Doctolib now? I think it's probably hundreds of people.
Yeah, more than 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to support those growth is very interesting. But now let's go back a bit on growth for Welcome to the Jungle. So we know that the company has raised some millions a year ago, something like that, if I'm not wrong. What's the plan in terms of development for such a company where as you say, it's a media. So I know that to be successful as the media, you need to create a community, to be known in a certain environment, how to replicate those kind of community. What are the plans for the next months, years for Welcome to the Jungle?
Yeah, so that's a big question. So I'll try to give a simple answer. But Welcome to the Jungle, as I told you, is both a media, but also products that we sell. So to build a media is maybe one of the most complex things for a company, because it takes a lot of time to create a brand and to create someone that is a media that is reliable. So what we intend to do is to launch and create content in many countries at the same time, to hope to create a brand in the following years in different parts of the world. So for example, in France, now I think we can say that people know us and they trust us. But we can't say the same in England or in Spain or in Czech Republic, where it's countries where we've been active as a media for about a year. So we plan to work much more on these media, so in these countries, but also in the US, and see how the market reacts to our information, and then plug our solutions, our business solutions after that. So that's the media plan to really be present in English-speaking countries mostly. Then we have our Welcome to the Jungle products, the one we've been talking about recruitment, but also some SaaS product that I'll talk about later on. And here we want to continue being active in France, obviously. We bought a company in Czech Republic that we rebranded as Welcome to the Jungle that is doing really well, so we want to continue there as well. But then my plan and the company plan is to find another big country in Europe to propose our solutions. When I started the Welcome to Jungle, COVID really started, so it was really hard to be like, okay, let's go to London tomorrow. So we thought, let's make a big analysis on what's going on in every single cities and the most important ones. So we launched a huge study in London, in Berlin, and Munich to see how was the market, how mature was the market, and we confronted HR decision makers to our products. And to be straightforward, we excluded very quickly Berlin and Munich and focused on London. So London was the market that really showed the most interest into our products and the most maturity, which means that we didn't feel like we needed to educate much the actors on what is employer branding and how important it is to have a successful company culture and recruitment performance. So yeah, by 2022, we would love to have a strong business situation in London. And depending on how it works, we want to grow faster as well in the US. But that's another thing.
Very interesting. I was questioning myself because I take my personal experience because we at Earlymetrics we started to use Welcome to the Jungle in France, where we have our HQ, but we were also recruiting a strong team in the UK. So we used and we deployed also Welcome to the Jungle also in the UK. So we use our ecosystem to collect the application through this platform also in this place. Have you used your, I would say, your existing client base that you've developed in France to identify where your French clients are also recruiting in other countries? Because I think that one point is that Welcome to the Jungle is focusing SMBs, but SMBs that are recruiting, so I would say targeting like strong growth in that way. So are you using those kind of I would say input to evaluate if London? I would be curious also to know if London is really a place where the French entrepreneurs also are looking for recruiting their next team and talent.
So yes, when we want to choose another market, we do use our active clients and see how they are behaving in other countries. But it would be a mistake to take a decision only on that. Because yes, we are strong in France, but no, the French actors that are active in Europe are not representative of the market health. So for example, we have a lot of French companies active in Spain. But today, I'm pretty confident that Spain is not ready for high growth for Welcome to the Jungle. But like a lot of companies will be like, no, but I have an office in Barcelona. Please be strong there and generate a lot of traffic and have some people and some great productions for us. But probably no. And to answer your question, yes, London is a huge focus for any French company that want to recruit talents. So it's a great indicator, but it's not why we're going there. We're going there because there is like high growth and successful companies that need to be helped on their employer branding and recruitment challenges.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So thanks a lot for presenting this company. Now I suggest that we discuss a bit about the two products, because so there are 4 products you mentioned earlier, but 2 specific one. And this part will be very important, guys, for Sin, because you want to, I will share a bit later I would say the question he asked for you guys. But there are 2 points, and you want to test the market fit, the product market fit regarding 2 products that they are launching. So one is, we can say I would say the product with which you created the company. So welcome kit. Maybe you can say 2 words. I have a short video presentation that is 1 minute. Maybe I can present it quickly, and then you can comment on the video. Mathilde, can I share my screen? Yes.
You should be able to, yes.
Okay. So 1 second. Perfect. And okay, can you see my screen? The yes. YouTube. Okay, let's go 1 minute, and then we have Sin for giving us more details.
So we can't hear the sound, Sebastien.
The sound is not working?
No.
Wow. Sorry, I have the sound on my side, but I don't know how it worked then. Never mind.
Wow. Don't worry about it. I can.
We will give it already. Yeah. I let you present Welcome Kit then.
So the product we've been talking about, Welcome to the Jungle, that puts in relation companies and candidates, has different formats. So the first one, and maybe Sebastien, if I can share my screen, I can show the product myself. Yeah. So the first one is up. There you go. that's an example of a company page. So that's the company I was talking to you about. So as you can see, you have pictures of the offices, you have key information, key data on them, and then you have videos that present some employees and talk about what they do, so that you can really, as a potential employee, see what it would be like to work. And then you have all the available jobs. So Doctolib has more than hundreds of jobs available right now to recruit people. So that's the product, that's the experience as a candidate. That's what you see as a candidate. But then as a recruiter, you receive a lot of applicants. So then you need to handle them. And this is where you use Welcome Kit. So Welcome Kit is an ATS, so applicant tracking system, that enables you to handle all your candidates very, very easily. So for example, this is a product manager job where you will receive like a lot of applicants every day. And you will have different steps of the process. So for example, here you have, so this is a fake, it's a demo thing. Huh? So you have all the new applicants. And so for each applicant, you have a page, and on the page, you have all the information on the name, the CV, all of that. And you can put the candidates at the right stage. So you have the resume, and then you can put comments on the page of the candidates to see where you are into the process. So first one to refuse, rejected, offer, hired, classic ATS. So that's the very, very first product thanks to which we were successful in France with Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, very clear. Guys, do you have any questions? Feel free to ask questions on this first platform. It's important that you understand what is behind the product, because then Sin will have question for you. If no more question, I suggest that we present this product I was teasing at the beginning of the chat, which is Welcome Home. I will share the infographic you share with me, and we will review that together. So this time is not a video, so it should work. Can you see my screen? I will zoom, huh? Don't worry. We'll zoom a bit. Okay. Okay. So what is Welcome Home, Sin?
So this product is very, very new, and it's completely a beta test. So I'm very curious to know what you think about it. But simply, Welcome Home is a digital environment of an office. So you have three main features in Welcome Home. The first one is the virtual office. So the visual that you can see on the top right corner, that is exactly how it will look like. So it's a 3D environment where you can put all your employees, and they can actually walk there thanks to their computer. And each time they meet another employee, a conversation, a Zoom call will be created, or each time they go into a room, and many employees go into a room, then you can start a Zoom meeting there. So it's really a way to engage your employee when they are in remote environment and make it playful and useful. The second use of this platform is to gather all the information of your company. So if you go down, Sebastien, so for example, every single employee will have a company page with information about them. What do they do? In which team do they work? What tools do they use? So you will have all the latest announcements in the company that will be available in this very, very same environment. And then the third and last important feature of the tool will be a reward system. So there will be a virtual money bank where every employee will be able to give this virtual money to another employee when there was some kind of success. And every single employee has a bank, and then there is a market where employee can actually buy some stuff or invest into important association, organization, if they'd like to. So yeah, I tried to make a summary of it. It's a bit maybe difficult without seeing the product, but these are the three main features. So virtual office, main information for your company, and reward system to keep your employees engaged. That's
quite amazing, Sean. Thank you. I saw that Seb got disconnected, so let's keep on going with the chat. It's here he is back. Good to see you, Seb. I'm quite curious. You said the virtual office, the remote working engagement tool was in beta testing. What's the state of the other two?
It's all being
launched.
It's all being created right now, and we are launching the product in June as a soft launch. So we'll have 2 months of iteration because we'll give it access to 100 of our clients so that they can give feedback and make the product evolve. And in September, we'll go for a hard launch. So we will launch in multiple cities at the same time, London included.
That's amazing.
So the idea is that it's really a SaaS product. So every company can actually be independent with it and add some employees very, very easily into this work environment. So it's a very intuitive product.
So I've got a question. So hi, Sean, I'm Isabel from Business France. So generally, when there's a new platform, a new product that is introduced in a company, the main challenge is always to make people go to the platform and use it. So how are you going to make sure that those employees are going to be using this platform? What are going to be the incentive to engage people on this new platform?
So yeah, indeed, that's one of the biggest challenge. And typically for these kind of products, the employees are your best ambassadors. So you don't want to really convince the CEO or the CTO. You want a group of employees to be like, okay, I need this and I don't want to let it go. So it's not about reaching like the entire company and saying, okay, we need to have everyone. Actually, it's more about reaching a team, a small team. It can be 5 people that use it and like, okay, I really enjoy this virtual office. I think some other teams in my company should profit from it and do the same. So the idea is really to target some specific people that we think have the right identity to use it. Typically, most of the tech dev teams and companies are really geeky and really in remote, and they would really enjoy this kind of tools. So these are the people we'll target at first.
Yeah, we have another question from Angelina. So she liked the idea. What about big companies? Because indeed, sometimes it can be messy for large organizations to organize those kind of workplace. How do you see? Do you think that large company will be also the target for such product, or it's more the SMB companies?
Yeah. No, today I think we shouldn't have a company vision of this product. It's more a team vision. So some teams can use the product in a big company, but it's true that I think that big groups will not be as receptive as small to medium companies. So for example, in our launch strategy, the target will be more like 10 to 100, 150 employees and even the product is not really functional if you have more than 100 or 150 people in the virtual office. So yeah.
Of course. Good. So thanks a lot for the presentation of the product. I suggest that we move to the last part of this interview regarding the expansion in the UK. I have the slide to share, but maybe if you can share to the group what you are specifically looking for, what are the questions that you have before moving to the UK. I will share the slide too.
I think to make it a bit simple, there are 2 main things I'd like to focus on. So yeah, the first of all is the product. So yeah, I'd love to have your feedback on what we just said and how do you feel the market is mature to welcome either our Welcome to Jungle product or Welcome Home product. So if you have any feedback, any idea, or any experience with companies that are similar and that made some mistakes entering the London market, I'll be delighted to have your feedback today or another day. But maybe the most important for me today will be talking about go-to-market strategy, which is really people-oriented matters. What do you know about French companies that launched a SaaS product in London, and how did they build a team? So, for example, do you have SDR and salespeople handling all the leads to sign clients in Paris, or do you have really people in London and British people actually talking to the clients? Do you use 20 people to challenge 20 sales to get the best results, or do you actually start with a very small team to see if the market is taking off? So the people thing is a blurry thing for me. And then I would love also to have some feedback on B2B companies that knew how to reach their first clients in London, some very simple and concrete advices on how to reach your first clients in London that are more SMB type.
Yeah, those are the tough questions. I don't know if there is a specific good answer for that. There are many different ways to tackle that. I don't know if anyone, I don't know if we have in the room some HR specialists that want to maybe share their feeling regarding the two products, because I think one key point is because with those two products, I think it will be probably hard to launch the two products at the same time in a new market. So maybe if there is a feeling that can be shared in the room from someone that knows this HR environment, if there is one product that could be, we say, more easily to address. No? Just a second, I open my chat. I don't see anything. Yeah.
Sorry, so I don't want to be talking all the time, but
no,
we've been we've been helping a lot of French company to develop in the UK, and especially some HR company. One first thing is it's really hard to convince HR people to address HR people from big companies, because they don't really have a lot of budget. It's really hard for them to introduce new solution, and they're not really the people in the companies that are more innovative in the way they operate. I think you've got one main competitor in the UK, which is the same everywhere in the world, which is LinkedIn. But I've been using LinkedIn myself to recruit people, and I have to say that the experience is not really the best when you try to select the candidate and see their profile and everything. So I think there's really something to differentiate yourself with that experience, because I really feel like there's something to be improved. In general, UK companies are different. They operate differently than in France. There's not all this system of comité d'entreprise, those things like that. So there's less of those functions, those reward system. But there are a lot of companies that try to be innovative in the way they animate their employee workforce. So, for example, I know that some companies has this kind of system of rewarding people that they think are performing best, and they can have some points that they can use to buy stuff. So that already exists in big companies. And they also offer a lot of 360 reviews, 360 evaluation, etc. So there's a lot of things that exist already. I wouldn't know if they use a specific platform for that, but that's something that exists. Although small companies, startups company, they might not have those kind of tools, so that could be also a good way for them to offer those services for the employees. And the best thing at the moment, like the the focus for our company at the moment is about like diversity, and like in a larger scale, not only gender diversity, but also background, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of companies that are focusing at the moment on this aspect of diversity. So I think, I don't know if in the recruitment process, you include a lot of those aspects, but I think it's really key in the UK, and a lot of companies think they haven't nailed it. So there's yeah, a lot to work on this. Regarding your strategy, because we help a lot of companies as well launching in the UK, I'd say a lot of companies when they start in the UK, they try to have someone from the like a partner, a CEO or a C-level that comes to the UK for a time in order to see themselves how the UK is structured, because again, it's really different than France. So it's really important to have in mind those differences. And then they try to hire salespeople that are generally British. It really helps to have a British team in the UK, because also selling in the UK is really different than in France. So that's quite key. But that's generally the company that expand in the UK. That's what the journey, but it can be different from a company to another. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, and I kind of agree with all what has been said. And another question that I have for you, Sin, is that when we start to sell our product in the UK, we had to do a strong work around the marketing and the return on investment for all the product we were selling, because in the UK I have the feeling that maybe a bit more than in France, what is very important is the impact of the solution to their business or to their job. So quite soon, when we were presenting the product, we had to say, okay, the return of investment that you can expect from our product is this one. So I think that for the Welcome Kit, I see it very well because I'm using it, and I see really an acceleration in the recruitment process, which is something quite long, that can be very time consuming. But on the second solution, we say I'm a bit more struggling to identify what is the main return on investment that can be expected for a company. However, I know also that the retention, we have a barometer that we are going to launch, and the retention is something very difficult in the UK. I mean, so compared to France, for instance, it's sometimes it's a bit more difficult in France to recruit new talent because the market is a bit less agile. However, when you have someone recruited, it's easier compared to London to retain the talent because the competition is probably a bit less strong. But in the UK, it's true that you can recruit someone from 1 week to another quite easily, but then the retention means also that it's very difficult to retain. So just asking the question regarding the return on investment, but I think also it's also linked to this point now. Am I right?
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I think there are two ways to see it. The first one, Welcome to Jungle, has to really build a strong speech on the importance of employee engagement and how a tool can keep an employee healthy and upgoing into the company, which is an even more important thing in full remote companies. But then I think the product has to sell itself by giving data about how it's being used, how people every single day use it, and to sell it after it's been used. And yeah, the ROI is not as clear as when you recruit someone. It's more about the experience and the maybe indirect impact of this product, which I understand makes it maybe a bit tricky, more difficult to sell.
But I'd be sorry, Matilda here, Sean. I'd be quite curious to know about the retention. If maybe this is not something you can share today, but the average retention that you have on someone who's been recruited through welcome to the jungle as compared to someone who's been, you know, coming from a different anyway company or recruiter. Then Isabel mentioned diversity. Of course, I believe we should a little bit at least mention mental health and employee well-being, which is truly a topic here in the UK. And it's not just in terms of recruitment and employee retention. It is something that is much more, that is handled culturally in a very different way here than it is in France. Just take the very quick, brief example of a mother giving birth. You'll be followed. The NHS, which is the Sécurité Sociale here, they will call you, follow up, l'assistance publique, si tu veux. They will follow up, ask you if you're well, of how your well-being, how your mental health is. I'll just close this very brief example, but I think it's telling a lot about how important it is. You mentioned clearly the decision you made and the focus that you have now on London, and that the employer branding, the company branding, same. You're arriving with a very strong proposition here, and we see it's not just SMEs. We see large companies, large corporates they have those employee engagement surveys. They challenge their managers on the way they actually engage their team. There is this culture here, and I think you're addressing it in a very creative and very interesting way.
Well, that's good to know, but it's true. We probably need to step up on how our product has impact on retention, because I'm pretty confident it does have some impact. You know, for example, if I believe that every single employee has its identity that can actually match or not match with a company. So if someone is a very brutal employee, and you know, if this person likes companies that are a bit like that, then that's fine. And they really need to understand to each other, and Welcome to Jungle enables to do that. If an employee is very, very cool and chill, and the company is very, very cool and chill, then they will match, and the story will be much longer. While if you go into a simple job board, you don't really know what's going on into the company, and it's much more possible that you're making a mistake. So it must have some impact on retention.
Yeah, it's not just a market fit, it's like an employee fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't point my finger, but we do have someone who works in HR. I won't point my finger, but if he could give you a feedback or an input, I don't know if he's got like a few comments to spare, but otherwise I'll make an introduction. I'll throw him under the bus separately. But
He's
he unmuted himself.
Clearly he knows, and he's not HR. Come on, he's a top recruitment firm. Be nice.
No, he is, and he unmuted himself. So without further ado, Lilian, please talk to us.
I'm making brushing. How are you? Look, I think the UK is a much more competitive market. I think every French company coming to London are facing that. I think Welcome to the Jungle, and the reason I'm here is that I really like the UX. I think the way they presented companies, the way they are really building the brand, employment things are great. You need to be sure that the people in the UK will resonate with that. I believe, you need to understand, I think you were referring to Mathieu Birac before at Doctolib. What resonates for Mathieu, you need to be sure that it resonates for real in the UK market. And you need to understand that, because if not, then your great, business case with clients in France are not going to be resonating with the market here in the UK. Definitely people are jumpier that in France. Recruiters are not looking at the same thing. The speed of delivery is not the same. So again, I think you have a pretty cool website for brand engagement. I would be very interested in your product about this engagement with employee post-lockdown, because I think we are all thinking about how we're going to work together, creating culture, internal culture, because I think we all love some of the work from home and we hate some of it, and we want to go back to the office, but we don't want to go 5 days a week. So how we continue to build culture, especially in fast scaling businesses, is really critical. Look, you have great credential, market is very competitive here in London. You have thousands of solutions for recruitment. So build on a couple of key clients who are not French, hire a local team. You know, I think it's super important, especially if you want to target SMBs. You know, SMBs are going to be UK business run by British people. You know, I don't do a lot of work in London, even though I am based in London for British company. I do a lot of work for international company. So that's the beauty of London. And yeah, I think you need to understand that the market is very fluid. So it's hire quick, fire fast, which is counterintuitive when we come from France at the beginning, because we want perfection on everything, because we can't get rid of people, even though it's easier. I know, Mathilde, you told me that many times. But yeah, that would be my gut feeling. Very interested to understand better your new product, because I think this critical challenge for companies will be to hire, especially having not met people face to face. So how do you work on the induction of those guys to make them successful? And that's our current challenge, even in London with our team, because we have brand new people we never met, and I'm sure everybody faced that. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a comment on Lilio's point. I totally agree with him, and I think there is a strong question regarding the sales target. Is that on our side we wanted to target initially the British market with British clients, but now, to be honest, we target international clients. So it includes some British ones, but also a lot of non-UK based clients in Japan, all around Europe, also in the US. And I think there is a strong question that is difficult to address when you are only based in France or a similar market in Europe, that the London market is really an international one. So we'll see with how the Brexit will impact that. But it has kind of an impact on how you structure your organization and where you put the focus to in terms of team. Because on our side, I take just the parallel on my side, we started by having only British native guys, but we figured out that we were signing many international clients, so some from the UK, but not only. So now our country manager is a German guy who is recruiting a team, a diverse team with guys from the UK, the British native guys, but also some guys from Asia. So it's really how you will address this target, and I think the target of I would say of selling to only British SMBs, it can be very touchy, and I don't know if this market is that big compared to the potentials that can give the international market that include also the UK startup, but those kind of company are international. So that's just a feeling I want to share, because I think we wasted some time by trying to focus the UK guys, and at the end when we started to be successful, when we opened up the market to international companies, and it worked. So.
Sean, I want to have just a quick more macro view on the market as well, because one of the things that I see is HR tech has been top of mind for a lot of people for many years. And yet, when you look at the market right now, there's a lot less product that have been launched recently. And if you look at the list that I shared, which is one of the lists, not the best and not the latest, but it's from December 2020. And you can see the number of companies out there have been created quite a while ago. Some of them from back in 2009 and 10. So we're talking 10, 15 years in the making. So there is, as you know, a very competitive market. We mentioned that several times. There's a lot of companies being created every day in the East End of London. There's tons and tons of new companies around this particular area. And there's also traditional boutique recruitment boutiques. And I keep receiving pretty much every day, including one while we were talking, a boutique recruitment firm that are looking at helping you scale your company and recruit the right talent. It's all over the place, right? Because during the pandemic, a lot of people turned their business around, closed their business, and turned into from one day to the other, specialists in recruitment for some reason. And I'm sure Lilian will love that. But at the end of the day, to the point that we were talking about, I think there is still a margin of improvement in terms of the quality of UX you can propose and the quality of interaction you can propose to the customer base. And to Seb's point, if you have the right tool, if you have the right approach, then retention is key. And that's how you're going to make sure that you keep the market happy, right? So don't consider there's no space. I think there is a massive amount of space left for a better player out there. It's just a question of recruiting the right people. And to everybody's point, don't recruit only French people, obviously. Make sure they're locals and international, because if you launch in London, it's not only British, right? It's actually rarely British. It's a lot of everything and a lot of different talent. So yeah, go for it.
That's an interesting feedback, actually. I've never heard this idea of launching London with a global vision. Like everyone really is talking about London and the London community. I think the launch vision we have today is really to sign the first clients in London. But I mean, we just need to have 100 paying clients in London that justifies really big investment there. And already to have the 100 first clients in the first 6 months of activity, for example, demands a lot of investment. Like we don't want to have one salesperson there. We want to have a strong team from the beginning to really know the impact we can have in London quite fast. Because it's also the kind of market where you don't want to stay too long if it doesn't work. Like we don't want to stay 3 years with a team of 10 people there if it doesn't work.
It's costly, right? So you want to make it, as Lilian said, hire fast, fire faster, right? I think there's another element to it. Is London a little bit like the US is probably the most international sort of city in quote unquote Europe, right? We'll forget and we don't talk about the B word in this call, but in the current context of economics, you're still going to have a lot more international crowd and reach by being based in London, because instantly you have global communication and global companies. Whereas, we love France, but we all know that you start in Paris and it's going to be at best national, right? For most of the companies you're going to work with. And so that's something you need to keep in mind when you launch here is your international reach will multiply instantly if you do a good job, right? By having an instantly global company. You don't launch UK only unless you're a very traditional business. You launch global anyway, right? And being digital, you are global by definition. It's just a question of reach, and the reach comes from better companies that have got the right sort of kind of connections and network. And in London, it's that easy to get access to the network. So yeah, keep that in mind really, because the faster you launch, the better you connected, the more reach you'll get, and then the more global you'll get at the end of the day. So it's what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with your point, Raf. And where I have an experience regarding this international position, the investment that you will do in the UK is not only, I would say, an investment where you will get, it's difficult to justify what I'm going to say regarding investor, but the direct payback on the UK market will be sometimes different to evaluate. But all the investments that you are going to make in terms of communication, creating the branding in the UK will give you also this international credibility, because London is still an attractive place, okay, even if we had the Brexit and all those stuff. For instance, on our side at Earlymetric, we started to attract Asian clients in the UK now for 2 years, because we had this position in the UK and we were credible in the UK, you see. So it enlarged the target reach, and that was something quite interesting in our life as a company, because initially we were mainly on the UK market, but the fact that we invested on the UK market, we created the branding, the credibility, then we started to have international companies that wanted to target this market and saw us as a credible player partner for that. So I think that's a good point, but the international view on London is quite important, because to only look at British company can be very expensive in terms of expense and quite difficult to address too, because the competition and the environment, unless you recruit a team of only Oxford guys, it will be hard to address only this market. Good, guys. Is there any other question before? Yeah, we have
Sean, Teresa from Business France. I work with Isabel. I just wanted to ask, I was very interested in some of the content on your website. For example, some of the information about cognitive overload. stuff, the sort of mental health stuff, some of the stuff that we all have. And I was just wondering, how do you kind of source your content? Do you always work with the same content providers? Is it kind of open to calls? How do you kind of source that content?
So hi. Yeah, we work with local journalists in every country we're active in. So this is really important. So we have some full-time journalist employees at Welcome to the Jungle. We also work with freelancers that we work with regularly. And so, for example, in the UK, we are active. We have the media active in London. So we have a head of content there, and we have 10 freelancers with whom we've worked for a year and a half now, that produce all these content. Yeah.
Okay,
great. And I think that's very interesting and important for the UK. All the communication, the branding will be an important investment. Good, guys. 1 minute left. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this very interesting question on the exploration of the UK market. I think that there will be a lot of in between to do after this coffee. Thanks, Sin. Was a nice session. We're very happy to have you on board. I hope that very soon you will join the French Tech London community as part of a full-time member, or at least someone from your team. That would be.
Yeah, but are you recruiting?
Yeah, but it's not for the FinTech group. But we would be very happy to have you to join our event and to continue to network with the community. So thanks again. I think it's time now for going back to work after this nice session. So I leave the last word to our guest, who did a very nice presentation. Thanks a lot, Sin.
Yeah, thank you very much for this event. A lot of great advices. Last thing I would maybe ask before I go, if you know anyone, if you know any companies that went into the London market and you think could have good advice for Welcome to Jungle or for me, just feel free to send me their contacts if you don't mind, and I'll be delighted to have a conversation with them as well. So, yeah.
Perfect. Will do. Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good morning.
Thank you.